All right, so we're gonna go ahead and recreate this isometric that we have right here. And you can tell it's isometric for a few reasons. Number one, the type of paper we're using. We are using isometric graph paper, and if you notice, there are a bunch of little triangles, okay? And the other thing, if you notice, is height, again, is kind of being represented up and down. Width is going along this grid line, and then depth are along the grid lines going from the front side to the back side, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and first, on our isometric, let's label the front. So I'm labeling this for front, and the reason why I'm labeling them front is because they are facing the front, okay? In an isometric drawing, this view kind of can pretend that you're standing right in front of it. This is considered the front view, okay? So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and recreate this as an oblique drawing on the graph paper that we have, okay? So make sure that in order to draw your in order to draw your oblique drawing, you need orthographic graph paper, whichever the little squares, okay? So in order to get started, I'm gonna start in this kind of lower left corner. So I'm gonna make a point. That point, I'm now going to draw in kind of like the lower left corner of my paper about, and we're gonna put it about here, okay? And like I said, that represents this. So if you notice height, it's still gonna go up and down on the oblique drawing. So I'm just gonna draw this really lightly and just say height, okay? So I know that it's going to go up 1, 2, and 3, okay? So I'm going to draw a line using my ruler. That's going to go up 3. So here we go. There's my straight edge. Great. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue drawing. I'm not going to skip around to lines back here. So I've drawn this edge. I'm now going to go along this edge right here, and that's a distance of 1, 2, okay? But width now, on an oblique drawing, width goes in a horizontal direction, okay? So now from this top corner, I'm gonna go to the right 2. So I'm gonna continue with my line, and I'm gonna go to the right 2. And then if you notice the drawing, then it goes down 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go down 3. And then I'm gonna connect it back to my starting point, okay? So again, if you kind of notice, it gives the illusion that, again, you're looking directly at that front side, straight on, okay? But now we have to start drawing the depth, okay? And the depth in an oblique drawing, the depth ends up going diagonally, okay? That's the depth. So if I start here, I need to draw this edge, and it has a depth of 2. So that means I'm going to go exactly diagonal 1, 2, okay? And then we'll go ahead and continue. There we go. Now I'm going to do the depth from this point, and I'm going to go 1, 2 in the depth direction. So again, I'm going to go diagonal. There's 1 diagonal, 2 diagonal. Connect the points. Draw the line, okay? And then the same thing, there's 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, there's my 2 points. Connect the dots, draw the lines. Now, I can go ahead and draw this line. This line, if you notice, again, is in the width direction. And on an oblique, the width is horizontal. So now, I can go ahead and connect these 2 points here. And I can connect this vertically for height, because I just drew this edge right here, and that goes here. So I've drawn now this whole entire little part and section that kind of sticks out of this entire object, okay? And now it is drawn an oblique. So again, when you're looking at the front, you're kind of imagining you're looking at it straight on, and then everything else, meaning the depth on an oblique drawing, goes off at a diagonal, Okay, so now we'll just continue. I'm gonna just continue where I left off. So we left off at this corner, which is this point right here. And from there, I need to go up 1, 2. So from this point, I'm gonna go up 1, 2, and I'm gonna go ahead and draw my line. I'm gonna erase my counting marks, okay? Just because you're gonna make it nice and neat. And then I could go horizontally now. This is in the width direction. So let's see how far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. I'm gonna connect those lines and dots, okay? And now I can draw this edge for height, and that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that works out really nicely because if you notice, at this point down here on the isometric, there's just a straight edge and it connects to this interior corner. And this edge goes in the width direction, right? On the isometric. So again, from that corner, it should still connect to that interior corner, which is right here. And it's in the width direction. Perfect. So it's horizontal. It lined up great. Okay. That means we made our calculations accurate. Okay. So now I just drew this face, right? That's this one right here. Okay. Now I can go ahead and do the depth from each of these corners. Okay. And again, the depth goes kind of diagonal on the isometric. It definitely will be going diagonal on our oblique. So we are doing, if you notice, and hopefully you noticed, we are doing a cavalier oblique. And that's because it is full depth. Okay. The depth on the isometric is matching the depth on the oblique. Okay. If it was cabinet, then instead of going diagonal 2, just like it's shown in the isometric, I would only go half. So I'd only go back 1, but I went the full depth. Okay. So let's continue with going the full depth. So from this top little corner right here, I need to go in the depth direction 2. So I'm going to go again, starting at that same corner, go 1, 2, use my ruler. I'm going to go ahead and draw that drawing or that edge. Okay. And now I'm going to start from this corner. Again, it's in the depth direction 1, 2. So I'm going to start at this corner and go 1, 2, draw my line or line it up, and then I'll draw it. There we go. And then from here, 1, 2. Goes 1 and 2. Line that, make sure it lines up nicely. There we go. Okay. And now I can go ahead and connect the corners that I have. So vertical, vertical. And then this is angled, but in the isometric, but on the oblique, that width becomes horizontal. And there we go. Okay. All right. So now I've done these first 2 pieces. Now all left, I need to add this last one. Okay. So from this corner, which I have over here, I need to go up 2. Okay. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit so I have space. So here I'm going to go up 1, 2, draw my line. Then I'm also going to go across, and again, this is in the width direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that means I'm drawing a horizontal line, 8 spaces or grids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so I'll stop there. Now I'll go ahead and draw that horizontal line. Okay, and now if I look back at my drawing, so I just drew this line. Now I can draw this height. Okay, and it goes up and has a height of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Connect those lines. Okay. And then I'll need to connect this anterior corner with that corner. So I just draw this horizontal line. And then the very last step, I need to go and draw the depth. And if you notice, it goes 2, 2, and then also down here, I'll show that, sorry, 1, 2 from each one of those edges, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and go diagonal 1, 2 here. Gonna go diagonal 1, 2 here. Go diagonal here, 1, 2 here. Okay, now I can go ahead, straighten up some of those lines and connect them to complete my oblique drawing. And then the last thing you need to do, remember, I'll make this a little bit straighter. That was that best line. There we go. The last thing you need to do, remember, is adding tonal shading. So I'm gonna draw similar to kind of what I did here, all the dark sides, the really dark ones, all facing kind of to the right. And you can do cross hatching. So this is an example of blended. I can even blend it a little bit more by rubbing my finger. I'm going to use cross hatching. So this is kind of a little darker. Okay. Don't like how that was done, so I'm just making it a little bit neater, or trying to. And then I'll go back through and do the cross hatch, since this is on the dark side. There we go. And again, I'm doing this a little bit fast. You can take your time a little bit more in order to make it look as neat as possible. Okay, so those are my dark sides, and I'm gonna erase to make sure at least that things are staying within the lines. And then I'm gonna draw the medium side, which I'll kind of do in the front here. So I'm gonna turn it just because it's easier for me to angle it that way. And when I'm doing a medium side, I'm not drawing crossing lines. I'm just drawing a bunch of parallel lines. Okay, and I'll do it on this too, right here. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and clean it up. And here is our oblique, our Cavalier oblique, because it is full depth. And you can kind of compare it to our isometric drawing. So again, isometrics over here, they have angled edges when going in the direction of width and depth, right? Height still goes up and down. Oblique, width is horizontal. Height is still up and down, but the only thing that goes at an angle is going to be the depth.